This is probably one of the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to their coaching adjustments. As you can see right here, this cornerback just takes off. He just takes because he's running to a spot, and he leaves this receiver wide open going right up the seam. You can see now that if I change that this receiver is not going to go to that spot. He's instead going to match this receiver and follow him the entire way across the field, making this a much better defense. If you guys are looking for fast, cheap, reliable coins for your college football 25 team, check out my coin sponsors at MMOXP and use discount code MONEYSHOT for 5% off your order. Link in the description below.
The champ is here!
Welcome back, Money Team. This is Mad Money Shot, sniffing out the college cheese as always. In today's video, I have a full breakdown of the coaching adjustments that I use in just about every single game. And I'm also going to give you guys some options based on how you might like to play. But before I do, as always, if you want to see more videos like this, please make sure to be a subscriber, hit the like button, let me know in the comment section. And if you guys need more help, more money plays, or more tips, you can always download any of my ebooks instantly simply by clicking the links in the description or the top pinned comment. Now, I'm going to do this quickly, especially when it comes to offense, because there's not a lot of things that I change. The first thing that I'm going to change on offense, and pretty much the only thing I'm going to change, is ball carrier to conservative, which is already set. I don't typically, if I'm running with the running back a lot, depends on what offense I'm using. If I'm running with the running back only, then I might leave it to balanced. I never really go aggressive, but balance is okay if that's typically the main way you run your offense. You run like a pro-style offense, balance is fine. But if you use any offense where you're going to run with the quarterback, and for me, that's a lot of offenses. I run a lot of empty looks, like the bunch quads, where I'll run the quarterback blast. I'll run the empty quads. Once again, quarterback run plays, empty base. I use the quarterback run plays. Any play in college football that has a triple option where the quarterback can keep it, a speed option where the quarterback can keep it. Quarterbacks are designed to fumble the ball more often. So if you're running any offense like this, immediately switch over as the game starts and run ball carrier to conservative so that your quarterback, it'll essentially shut fumbles off. You might get the rare occasional one, but for the most part, this shuts fumbles off, and you don't even really have to hold the RB button during contact. I still do just to be safe, but you basically shut off to the point where it's not going to fumble at all. Although you do lose the ability to, ball carrier moves and stuff like that. But to me, possession is the most important part, as I try to just make sure that I maintain possession of the ball. That's how you win games. That's how you're seeing teams like my Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl right now, is because Jalen Hurts didn't turn the ball over the entire offseason or the entire postseason. So that's how you win football games at a consistently high level. So I always go conservative. The only other one you could potentially do on offense is tempo, and I don't really feel like any of these are worth it because you could do all this on the field. Chew clock is the only one that I might do. If I'm up 2 touchdowns and I know that I'm trying to kill clock, then I'll do this. But other than that, turbo is something you can do in game. Just make sure that if you are running your turbo offense, and you do get a huge benefit, just make sure that you have at least one run play in the top 2, because a lot of times I'll run turbo. If I come out and I see my opponent's in a really small defense and I have a size advantage, I just want to pound the rock on them, I'll go turbo, because you already get the advantage when you go turbo where you blow guys off the ball more often, and I made videos about this in the past. So just make sure that you have run plays in your top 2 options, because that would be the number one reason I do turbo. If you're doing a pass play anyway, you can't do adjustments. You can't do hot routes. So there's really no value to having pass plays. If you're the only reason I would do turbo, I would do no huddle, because you get 4 options, but you only get 2 options when it comes to turbo, which is the top 2. Which, like I said, I'd make sure I have an inside run play and an outside run play in those scenarios. So that's pretty much the only ones I would do. But like I said, I would never set turbo here. I would just do it in game. I think it's hitting Y or X twice. I don't remember off the top of my head, but that's the best option to do that there. On defense is a little bit more involved. The number one thing is I always have my defensive auto flip off, and I'll show you guys why. A lot of times I'll run defenses like the 3-3 man, which is something I put a lot out in the past. When it comes to certain blitzes, you want to flip the play. The 3-3 man was famous for this. You have to flip the play to get the advantage of the look you're getting on the cover 3 match here, where the defensive line is sliding away from the defensive end. You always have to flip the play to get that advantage. And I would also do it in the way that I would run it now, where a lot of times I would put this X defender here, this extra linebacker here. I would always put him in a hard flat to the open side of the field so I could mabel that side. And the reason I was doing that is because the open side of the field, or the larger side of the field, since there's like 70% of the field on this side, there's a 70% chance that that's where the play's going to go. Even though I got one receiver over there, if either of these guys on the short side are running patterns to the outside, they're going to run to the sideline before I even have to make a tackle. My coverage doesn't really even have to be there, because they don't have any space to operate. The sideline is the best defender on the field, because he never misses a tackle and he plays perfect coverage every single time. So I always want to play to this place that has space. And in reality, anybody you're playing in a game like this, they're going to be running the receivers across the field anyway. trying to go towards that space. So I always have that off because I feel like auto flip, for me personally, it takes away control. And I want control. All these things are about having control over what my defense and what my defenders are doing. Now, the only other 2 or 3 that I do consistently is defensive motion response. Once again, this is about blitzing or about setting up my defense. I want to have control, so I always take this off. If I set up my blitz in a certain way, or I move my guys in certain positions that I want them before a play starts, and then all of a sudden somebody moves across the formation and changes that, I don't want that. I set it up a certain way that I want it. You know what I mean? So it's like I take this off because I don't want a random motion to change where my guys are aligned or what position I have my guys set in. So that's why I always take that off. At the beginning of the year, I don't even think this did anything. They actually patched this to the point where it started to do something. So that's definitely important. The next 2 that I'm going to mess with every single game is going to be the option defense read key and pitch key. These 2 are probably the 2 most important that I do every single time, because if you don't set them, you're going to notice. When it comes to the read key, you always want to make sure you're focusing on the quarterback, because if you don't, the quarterback's going to get outside a lot of times. The running back goes inside, so it doesn't really matter. You know, that's where all your help is. That's where all your linebackers, your safeties, they're gonna stop that. 9 times out of 10 anyway. But if the quarterback keeps it, that's where the big run plays come from, because the weakness of every defense is going to be the outside cornerback, especially when it comes to run defense. You always want to funnel the ball back inside where your help is, which is where your linebackers, your defensive line, your safeties, all that's inside. You got 2 cornerbacks out on an island. If the ball gets outside, they're going to be screwed, because they don't have the type of block shedding or the strength to hold the point anyway, because they're cornerbacks. They're the weakest guys on the field. They're the fastest, but they're also the weakest. So you always want to try to turn the play back inside, which is where both of these are going to come from. So I'm going to focus on the quarterback so that edge defender that reads the handoff always keeps that quarterback inside. And the same thing is going to go when it comes to the option defense pitch key. I'm going to go aggressive this time to focus on the pitch, because once again, if somebody's running a speed option, I don't want them to be able to pitch it outside. I want to turn that back inside and make them keep with the quarterback one more time. So these are the only 2 that I really do. All 4 of these are the only 4 that I do every single game. Although these next 2 are ones that when I started recording this video, I was like, I probably should do these, which is strip ball and tackling. Both of these I would put on conservative, because you don't get, if you read what it says, AI defenders are the ones that you're changing here. If I put this to aggressive or I put this to aggressive, it's saying that the AI will go for hit sticks or they'll go for strip ball tackles, which you don't get a lot of AI fumbles anyway, because I think people would feel cheated. There's a really low percentage you getting those anyway, and the negatives outweigh it anyway. You'll get broken tackles and face mask penalties, or stuff like that. So the aggressive to me is worthless. I typically just leave it on balance, but I think it'd be best to put it on conservative. I'm probably going to start doing that, because you'll win more over the course of a game by getting first tackles on contact. First guy to the player tackles the player. He doesn't get a lot of extra yards. That's going to win you games more consistently over time. The same way that I said to put your ball carrier conservative. You don't want to fumble the ball. You want to make crisp, clean tackles every single time and limit extra yards. These things will result in more consistent wins over time. The last one that you could do if you want to do is cornerback matchups. I don't really mess with this because I run a lot of zone coverages, matching zone coverages, and they kind of treat it like man coverage. So sometimes you might get a look where a cornerback is supposed to be on the right side of the field in the deep third, and he's over on the left side because I matched him with the fastest receiver or the by overall or whatever, and it'll mess up the way the defense looks, and you'll have a wide open zone area because the receiver or the cornerback supposed to be in that area is matching to the cornerback or the receiver that you told to match. So for that rare instance that messes it up and allows a touchdown, I don't want those rare instances because you're giving up touchdowns in those scenarios. So I typically go just balance, just to leave it the way that it is, unless I'm going against like a Nick Harbor or something on South Carolina who's a 99 speed 6'5" guy. In that scenario, I recently had to go by speed because the game's speed threshold is kind of out of whack, where you can just bomb it up to that guy every single time. And a lot of people in my comment section know this because I get these comments, what do you do if a guy's just faster than you? Truth is, you really can't. You got to get speed on speed in those scenarios. That's the rare scenario where I'll change to by speed so that I have my fastest guy on that guy and hope for the best. Hope that I don't see some weird setup that I can't change in time where I'm giving up a free touchdown because the game's programmed poorly. I did have a gameplay recently where I did have that happen, where I had the outside third cornerback lining up at the defensive line for some reason, and I was lucky the guy didn't see it. Stuff like that can be instant touchdowns, so I typically leave that balanced so that doesn't happen. The last one I get the most questions about in the comment section is my zone drops. I leave these all to default because the best defense to me in the game are cover 3 match, cover 6 match. The matching zone coverages are the best as far as covering tightly while not having to go straight to man coverage. So to me, I leave these by default. If you change them in any capacity, if I change this one here, because I got a new defense, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. If I choose this play here, the Will Sand 3, which is a play that I'm running a lot, we'll go and we'll pick a play that you know, we can get a look at what the matching principles look like. I'm not going to touch anything here. You're going to see how this guy here is going to he's going to match. He's not going to just drop back into a spot, although he did there. So obviously the fact that I changed my matching principles already did mess that up, which I was going to say that it only really does that if you put a flat on the field. Like if I were to put this guy here into a hard flat, it would do that, but that's not the case. The fact that I have any of my my zone drop set, it immediately makes the defense react differently. But I can change that if I play sticks. So now that I played sticks, that seam flat should drop back. Last play, he was dropping back because he's dropping back to the area. Now he should match to this receiver here, because that's basically how it plays. And you can see drop back again. So maybe it's just the play, maybe it's just the way that it's designed, but we're not getting any matching looks based off the fact that I have my zone drops set in any capacity. Just the fact that I have a flat zone drop set to 0 that I'm not even using is messing up the matching principle. So I'm going to do that one more time because I just want to verify that. So we'll go with the exact same play. Now we're going to see how this guy here should match this cornerback here. Should match 4. He should match him on whatever route he runs just to start the play. Not necessarily throughout the entire play, but you can see right there. He matched him. He's following him across the field. Now, I was probably supposed to follow that guy, but that's not the point. The point I wanted to show was the difference when it comes to matching principles being on and off when you touch your zone drops. The second you touch your zone drops, you take this away. He was just dropping back into the left. Now he's just following this guy the entire way. He's basically covering up the biggest weakness, cover 3, which is the cover 3 seam, which is a lot of times these slot receivers can just go right up the middle and beat. But he follows them all the way across the field, which is what I want him to do. So, like I said, don't touch zone drops if you're running any of the defenses I show you, because that's pretty much all I run. I don't really run any regular cover 3s. Like a regular cover 3 drop, I guess, would be the look. I'm not really sure. But any regular cover 3, cover 4, I just feel like there's way too many openings in the field. The only way to play defense in this game, in my opinion, is matching coverage or man coverage. You can go that way. But regular zone coverages like the cover 3 stack are just terrible. They don't follow anything. There's way too much space in between the zones. It's just terrible. So, like I said, just make sure you don't do that. So I'm going to end the video there. If you guys want to see some gameplay of me using these adjustments, I'll have that popping up on screen. So just click the links. And until next time, thanks for watching, man. Much it out. Need more help or just want to show your support? Then head over to my Patreon and join my team, where you can get exclusive content like ebooks and bonus plays, as well as early access to my vids and more. Link in the description below.